Welcome to the Movement Project Podcast. We got Jacob Barnhill in the house. Jacob's a good friend of mine. We've worked together. He's actually sourced some deals for us in the past.
Yep.
But invited him to come out. We both share a unique role as what I'll call a visionary leader, right? Or a visionary, which, as you may know if you're in the network, visionaries have very interesting personalities, right? You're always going down rabbit holes and chasing different ideas, but sometimes the follow through can be difficult without having a team by your side. So
right,
we're going to dive in deep and really see where that goes. So welcome on board, bro.
Thanks, man. Excited to be here. This is really cool.
Yeah.
Appreciate taking the time.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So Jacob's a real estate agent with EXP.
Yep.
He's also an investor. So pretty unique how he's really carved his place in the network. And I'm excited to hear all about the team structure, how he's built that from within the organization.
Yep.
And we can kind of just talk about interesting projects that you got going on and going from there.
Cool. Yeah, we're always restructuring, man. So it's always changing. I'm still screwing up, failing, and trying to figure things out. So I'll do the best I can and give you some learning lessons.
I love it. I love it. So let's start at the top, right?
Okay.
Let's start in the role of a real estate visionary, right? In the beginning of the entrepreneurial journey, we all know that you wear many hats, right?
Right.
And somewhere in that journey of failing forward, figuring out the pieces and puzzling that greater vision together, you realize that you need to build a team around that greater vision. So let's talk a little bit about your backstory, how you fell into real estate, and then fast forward how you've built the team into the structure that it is today.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm here today, and none of this was planned, man. I didn't plan on being a podcast as part of my strategic plan with you at the beginning of the year. I didn't plan on being an agent. I didn't plan on being in real estate investing. But I think that's just part of the whole journey, is you're just kind of open to, as those things come at you, you need to be able to adjust. You kind of have a general direction, especially when you're first getting started. So I started, I was in the military. I was getting a check from the government, and I was in charge of the cargo, the weight and balance of a C-17 cargo jet. So I always joke I was crunching numbers on jets, and now I'm crunching numbers for real estate. And our first two deals we bought in Washington State, we did We Buy House stuff. We were the wholesalers. Yeah. We were licking and stamping postcards out of our house, $1,000 a month. My wife and I, we were doing about 100 We Buy House signs every month. And I, went through all the struggles of getting up 3-4 o'clock in the morning before the traffic. Me and my wife, doing a lot of that. She'll tell you she was doing most of it once we started to figure out we needed to get in our lanes.
That story stands today.
I was running the appointments, and then I linked up with one of the actual largest wholesale company, and I still kind of partner with them in some ways today. And I was running their appointments and my appointments. Sometimes I was running 3, 5 or more a day.
Yes.
And I was crawling under houses. I worked with a short sale guy for a while, and I was door knocking pre-foreclosures and all kinds of stuff. So I was really doing the grunt work when we first started. And then from there, I was planning on getting my license, just to keep it short, moved home for family reasons, for personal reasons, and then ended up getting my license in South Carolina with full intentions of doing my own investing, and ended up getting an owner finance deal on my first 5 properties from one lady in South Carolina. And we're actually getting ready to close on our 5th Airbnb next month, the same way, some seller financing structure. I've always loved creativity, and I always was trying to force the deal and figure out how could we get it to work, and I bring these deals to people, and it'd be like, I got a deal, and they're like, well, why do they want to move? I'm like, I don't know. And they're like, well, go figure that out. Right. And I was just trying to figure out how different ways that we could do deals. So creative finance was kind of in my wheelhouse up front. Ended up getting with a fortune builders community about 5-6 years ago. I really loved being an investor and then going agent, because I think that taught me to be a bigger leveraged business owner than getting in and just getting on the hamster wheel. And I've been on the hamster wheel for the last 4 years, right? I'm still in parts of the hamster wheel, but I always tell people, like, I put on the agent badge with full intentions of taking it off, right? I want to have that business. So So that's kind of my backstory, man. I get the wholesaling game. One of my first listing was from, I called the Fortune Builder directory, right? That was my lead source. I was calling people out of my phone. I was documenting Gary Vee style, like what I was doing on Facebook. And that was kind of my database. Instead of recipe cards, people saw videos, of me going to open houses. So they saw me kind of in action and doing stuff. So my first listing came from the Fortune Builder database, and those 5 owner finance deals that I told you about came from that Fortune Builder database. So I called 6 hours a day, just 6 hours a day. I was calling people from a list of any list that I could get, hard dialing on my phone, off of my laptop, in my old room in my mom's house. You know what I mean?
The game looks a lot different today.
It looks, what I do today looks a little bit different, but I definitely did the hard stuff, man. And, today I understand a lot of doing the grunt work, creative finance structures, all of that. How do I piece deals together? Resourcefulness, I think, translated into so many other things now today. So that's kind of how I got started. Now I have a team. Like I said, I'm always screwing up. So I just got rid of 2 agents. I got another two actually. As we were sitting here, my assistant put somebody in my calendar that I got to talk to later this week that's interested in the team. So that's where I'm at today. Instead of diving under houses, I have people that'll put appointments in my calendar for either sellers or agents that are interested in the team. So
that's awesome.
Yep.
I love it. So I'm glad we dove into the part of really starting out and having to run the grunt labor, right?
Yep.
Almost being someone else's errand man out there, knocking on doors, crawling houses, doing the stuff that no one wants to do, right? But what that did is that it taught you the in and outs of the business, right? From the ground up, which I think everyone should go through that, right? It's like it's on the job training.
Yeah.
There's a reason that wealthy people have their children set up working either fast food or waiting tables, because they want them to understand the value of hard work.
Yep.
Right? To see another angle and another perspective of what business looks like in the real world. Right? You don't want to just fall into the seat of opportunity, eating from a silver spoon, and have everything handed to you, because one, you're not going to appreciate it, and you're not going to give your best, because it's almost like a sense of entitlement.
Right.
So
I always wanted it faster, but I always think back, like, what would things be like if it would have came easier? Because I've seen people do stuff a lot faster. It seemed like that I was able to do so far, and to what I do, I think it looks fast to a lot of other people, but I don't see it that way. I'm always looking at people that have built teams in multiple markets. You know what I mean? I know one of our referral partners, she's up in Charlotte and Fayetteville, and in 2 years, she was the Rookie of the Year, Keller Williams, and she's got 2 teams now, and she's full visionary mode. She doesn't run any more appointments. She did that in about 2 or 3 years, and took 2 teams to 2 different markets.
You always think about, like, what is the differentiating factor, right, between 2 people in the same industry, sometimes in the same area, where one person excels and one doesn't, right? And I was reading a book about it that really dives into this principle, right? We all have the same amount of resources and opportunities. We all have the same amount of time. But what do you believe really excels that growth and accelerates the staircase to success in some people's lives, where others might not take that fast track?
Man, there's so many things. I think the biggest thing is you just got to want it enough. I could say, it's getting clear enough, or having a plan, or reducing it down to the simple, and, or learning as much as you can. I think you just got to want it. You just got to want it. You'll figure it out. You just got to want it.
It's a deep-rooted hunger, right? Like, you have to have a reason for getting out of bed in the morning. And if your why is not bigger than the how, on how you plan to get where you want to go, then you're never going to reach the goal that you've set out to reach. Right? That's big. Failing forward, being comfortable with the failure, because you know that at the other side of your failure lies a promise or a lesson, right? So how do you extract that lesson and get better?
You're asking me? I would say, how do you extract that lesson? I don't know, man. I can only speak from personal experience, and I really believe that, like, I'm a guy, if I screw up, I'm always wrong. That's the best way I can say it. I'm always wrong. Like, there's always a better way.
Wow.
And I got to figure out what could I have done, you know what I mean? No matter what it was, even if it was really easy to point at something, you know what I mean? To extract a lesson, you just always have to be wrong.
That's big, dude. That's a nugget. I don't think you guys even realize how valuable that concept is.
Yep.
Admitting you're wrong almost before it even happens, right? Because you're forward thinking as the visionary on worst case scenarios, right?
Yep.
And you're already planning and prepping to make sure that you have tools and systems in place, but you're casting the shadow of a doubt in the back of your mind so that you're prepared when that snowball comes, right? Because opposition is coming.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not even like, I don't even want anybody to think like I doubt myself. I'm actually really good at like just taking the hat, I'll throw it over the fence, and I've like never been on that side of the fence.
Yeah.
Like, we'll figure it out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm prepared to figure that out and learn something, you know what I mean? I think that's hard for some people. And you speak about like the visionary. I think like before we walked in here, I was telling you, we're the freaks, man. Like I'll explain. I heard somebody actually explain it this way. I don't want to take ownership of it, but like you've heard of disc profiles, right? Typically a visionary is going to be in the D and the I, where they have to have that people connection.
Yes.
There's different ways to kind of analyze it, but they're usually the driver and the people person.
Yep.
Right? They're very dominant, determined driver and people person, and they have to have some type of belonging or group inclusion, or they're just really, you know, outward with their, you know, emotions. Could be fun, could be not fun.
Yeah.
Right? The D and the I. That's typically where the visionary is at. So with that disc profile, I think I've heard it said 73% of the population is the S and the C. So I had a sales trainer actually explain that to us, and he was actually trying to make a point that, all right, because you're D and I, when you go out on these appointments, throttle it back a little bit. Just understand that, because typically you're going to have the S and C in front of you most of the time, and you got to understand you're the freaks, right?
People are not always going to understand your personality, your intention, right? Because we're accelerators, we're drivers, hungry for growth, hungry for adding value and seeking purpose, right? Like we're always forward thinking and trying to create things. But for people that are not ready for it, it can come off as abrasive, right?
Yeah, or just too much, or they don't know how to, you know, handle it, relate to it, you know. And that's part of our job is salespeople, whether you're agent or investors. You gotta tap into these people. So, yeah, man, I don't know. A lot of good nuggets there, I think. But I study that stuff because, you know, we're hiring a lot of people and want to make sure we got right butts, right seats, all that stuff. Maybe that's a good segue to talk about some team structure.
I like that. So putting the right people in place. When you say the right people in the right seats.
Yeah.
EOS is a big model. Right?
I love that.
Gino Wickman.
Oh, yeah.
Would you say you guys are operating on EOS, or at least seeking and building forward to build that momentum and reach traction?
Yep. Traction, Get a Grip, Rocket Fuel.
Yeah.
All those books are very top of mind right now.
Love it.
As we're getting ready to bring on 3 new people that'll probably be in our management roles, we've been looking at how to run effective level 10 meetings and how to have those scorecards and all that stuff, right? And actually get really specific on measurables too. So yeah, I love all that stuff. But definitely you got to have right people, right seats. Not that some people couldn't work out, like for example, in a sales agent role, maybe they've got a track record. And I've thought about like going back and forth of having somebody like, you know, maybe they do have a track record. I might try them out for 3 months. You know what I mean? But if they don't, and they really want to do it. If I don't have a track record and they're not a fit, we're gonna have to figure out another seat on the bus right now. You know what I mean?
So when you say right track record, you mean past experience?
Yeah.
Correct?
If you came to me, let's say you're typically I'm going to want an agent who's a D and an I, right? And if you're an S and a C, but you have a sales track record, okay, you've adapted.
Sure.
Right? But especially with us in growth mode right now, if you're an S and a C with no track record, we got another seat possibly for
back
you,
end.
But I'm not going to put you in an agent role right now.
Right.
Maybe if the team was much larger and, you know, I've got my sales manager in full operating condition and we know how we're taking people on, maybe we've got some help with the S's and C's specifically, but not for our team, not right now, not at this moment. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be the right fit for that seat.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you currently have an integrator to take your ideas and your visions and put them in?
She's one of those three. We took her to dinner. Actually took all of them to dinner 2 weeks ago, and they all figured out together that they were all Virgos. You're Virgo. So I don't follow the horoscopes. That's not in my hiring criteria yet, but I'm sure they might have something to say about that now. But she was actually at dinner and she was talking about color coding stuff like while we were there. So I was like, well, that's exactly why we found you and we're hiring you.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And your wife plays a big part in the business too. Like she is the organizational wing. I'm sure she just takes your word vomit and your systems and all your craziness and she tries to make sense of it and make sure that the communication takes place on the back end. She facilitates, emails, setting inspections, all that stuff. Because we've worked with her in the past, right? I think Lisa's closed a deal with her.
Yep.
We did Bolter's Lock together. What does that look like? How is it working as a husband-wife team?
So it's tough, man. If I was to give like some real advice, somebody asked us this recently at an event, and would I take it back? Heck no, man. She's been my cheat code for one since the beginning, and I've had paperwork to process. I've not done certain things at all the whole time I've been an agent. She's a licensed agent. And what we've also learned from each other too in the process, we've kind of forced each other to like, why we're always wrong, you know what I mean? And, we'll talk about things like the scorecards and level 10 meetings and all of this stuff. And we're both open to that. It's hard at times. And I think working with your spouse, because it's a different person, you got to go home with that person.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about. So it makes it hard. Also, she's not the typical seat on the bus, but now she has a track record.
Yeah.
She knows what she's doing, but we just know as business owners, we have a different vision for where we both want to be. We don't take it back working together at all, but there's definitely been lots of learning lessons that I think we both can list out a couple pages of, and we wouldn't take it back for the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think any husband and wife team are going to tell you that exact same thing.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you're in business with your spouse, it's a journey, right? Yep. I mean, I think you learn and you grow so much through the process, and you get to know each other's buttons, which ones you can push, which ones you can't.
Yeah.
But you almost come to a deeper understanding of one another. And as painful as some seasons might be, it forces you to grow. It's either going to help you grow together or you're going to grow apart, right? And it takes a special type of couple, special relationship to really stay engaged.
I think it's tough, man. It'll test you. And maybe one thing too that I haven't really maybe talked to her and really told her about either is like all the times that I do kind of have this visionary vomit, verbalizing stuff for me, you probably can relate, really kind of helps me piece things together. I've talked about the business so much more in different ways, and just even if her feedback wasn't that great, you know what I mean? Because she doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Right. No offense to her. I love you, Aaron. But she does have great ideas though. And she is kind of that black hat at times, but being able to verbalize so many things when and how I wouldn't have, if I would have just had an assistant or it would have just been me, has probably put us light years ahead from where we would have been.
Yeah. Lisa's usually right. And I'll admit this. I will. Sometimes I don't want to accept the feedback up front.
Yeah.
And I'm going to scream and kick. But at the end of the day, man, like she's usually right.
Yeah.
Just I'm sure she saved me from a lot of headache and stuff. And there's times that I
intuition.
wish women have better intuition than men.
Yeah.
In most cases.
I'm pretty optimistic, so I'm probably wrong a lot more than I know.
Yeah. That's a visionary trait.
Yep.
It is.
Yep.
I love that. So tell us a little bit about EXP's model, because this is like, it's a hybrid, right? It's one of the new hybrid models coming into the real estate brokerage type of realm, right? And let's talk. So the market right now is so crazy.
Yep.
Inventory is so incredibly low that a house goes on the market and you have multiple offers that same day, right? Like you open up appointments for the weekend and it gets so crazy. So what we're seeing is a lot of agents are starting to drop their commissions, right? You're seeing a lot of 2.5s and even below. And now the rise of the flat fee brokerage, like it's a whole new animal that's starting to take shape. Tell us a little bit about the EXP model, team building, how you can equip leaders from within and what the vision is with that moving forward.
Yeah, so we actually have some new stuff that we're going to be turning on, where we're going to be helping agents kind of build some business plans and stuff like that, doing some events. But it's really aligned, I think, a bigger opportunity where we can help agents. I always knew it was having a team. When I was an investor, not an agent, I was like, I'm going to build an acquisitions team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It was team the whole way. I knew I was building a business that would run without me. There was just a lot to learn in between, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I actually, I never planned on going to EXP. I was a happy camper over at Keller Williams and team owner too at that time. That was about 3 years ago, I think. And I was actually looking for a coach. And I wasn't happy with the coaching for agents that I found out there for business owners that also did investing. I couldn't find anything that could help me combine the model. I ran into these guys that were with EXP, with a coaching platform or with coaching, which is how I originally found them. And I was listening to their stuff for probably about a month or so. And I literally couldn't finish a workout. Like, I just kind of clicked for me with what they were offering and the opportunity and what I wanted to build. And I was like, I got to call these guys. And I called them and I talked to Jay Kinder, if I can drop a name, Jay Kinder, Michael Reese, John Kitchens is actually my coach with NAEA. If anybody knows Jeff Cook, the big agent that's trying to move to Columbia right now, he's come out of that NAEA community. And these guys went through a long process where they hired all the big coaches, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a day. And they were
a lot of NLP type of stuff, right? Mindset.
NLP, yeah, but like business and team structure stuff where they were trying to figure out how to partner with agents. They were trying to figure out how to expand. They were going through ISA teams and how to partner with agents and bring them leads and appointments and, you know, all this stuff. And I just really related to their story because they were like light years ahead of where I thought we were trying to go to, like, work with agents and kind of build a team and all this stuff. And they just had a bigger, better model, and it aligned with EXP's platform. And it really was about coaching. But then when I saw the opportunity and how it aligned with them, I was just like, man, this just makes too much sense. It was somewhat similar to Keller Williams and other models, but I just saw a bigger opportunity with EXP. And the simplest way to put EXP is doing the same business that we're already doing. We just have different income streams, which is really nice.
And you're also somewhat in the early adoption stage, right? So you rewind the tapes to pre-2008, right before the market tanked, right?
Right.
And it was kind of even playing field. Market goes under, right? All these foreclosures, people, blood on the streets, you know the story. Keller Williams, that's where they took off, right? Gary Keller is a genius, right? Because he saw it coming as a visionary, so he put the team structure in place, started building it almost like a multi-level marketing type of gig, but more based on teams. How can we train and equip these people to be the best productive agents they can, right? And as a result, that brokerage multiplied, right? It grew, probably doubled, tripled. I'm sure you know the story better than myself. But EXP is like the phoenix that's rising out of this new decade, right? Here we are 10, 12 years from the last correction. I guess we're almost close to 16 now. But EXP's similar model, but it's like morphed into a new beast, which technology is changing every single day. So you got to change with the markets, right? Why don't you dive in with that? 'Cause again, I'm sure you have a little bit more insight.
EXP specific?
Let's talk about Keller Williams, EXP similarities. What do you think the largest differentiating factors are between the two?
Well, I think one thing EXP has more than anything right now, they got the big mo right now, man. We just popped 50,000 agents. They're opening up new countries all the time, and they're just taking agents on at an accelerated rate. They were set up for COVID perfectly. They own a Verbella platform. They just bought Success Magazine. They've got so many things, man, that are going for them right now. But EXP, I guess, there's a lot of differentiators we could go down a really deep rabbit hole with right now. But EXP essentially has the mo. They got the big mo behind them right now. With the network marketing kind of model that you're talking about, They take a percentage off the top. If you think about like with Keller Williams, when they would kind of give you that kickback, and nothing against Keller Williams, man, I loved Keller Williams. Like I said, I didn't even plan on leaving. But there were some similarities, and then there was also a few more other benefits, and then there was some alignment stuff that really worked out for me. But Keller Williams will, once they make their profit and they pay their electric bills and their operating principles and all this stuff, then you get their profit share, right? And at EXP, they don't pay any of that stuff. So they have a lot more
all
money
virtual.
to kick back, and they do it off the top. They don't have to pay their bills. So it's a percentage of that gross commission back from that broker saying thank you for bringing in productive agents to the company. And then that's something that's exponential that you can grow.
Plus you're towards
one of
the
the other
top
incomes.
of the pyramid, which Keller Williams, which is seasoned and grown, right? Any new agent getting into the industry now is likely not going to see a whole lot of profit share, and probably never will. Where EXP is newer, it's fresh,
right?
Building massive. So when you say the big mo, are you meaning momentum?
Momentum, yeah.
Money, yeah.
Yep. I'm sports analogy, so
yeah.
My bad. But yeah, and then they got other, like, they'll give you your cat back. I mean, people are looking for low fee brokerages, but it's like, dude, if you're gonna go out there and hustle and close deals and get your cat back, and you got all the other technology and one of the largest growing companies, and you have all this other income. So I would just tell people, do the math. It doesn't fit for everybody. It fit for me. But you know, we do career nights every week, and I talk about it, and I tell people the facts. Like, our team's not going to fit for everybody, and EXP is not going to fit for everybody, but you're going to do yourself a disservice if you don't go back and do the math. And that, I know agents that leverage EXP's platform, and I know agents that are leveraging the platform, and there's some really cool stuff. Think about all the opportunity that you can give people. You talk about all the free stuff that or things that you might charge for in different communities. Well, what if you could align in a different way? You could give all that stuff away for free. You know,
you
what
absolutely
I mean?
can.
I think it's great.
And that's the true value.
Yeah.
Is you give away free information. You show people the roadmap, right?
Right.
Universe is going to have its way of manifesting that tenfold back to you.
Absolutely.
Right. You're casting the vision. You're empowering the people.
Right.
Send them out there. Equip them to lead others too.
Yep.
Right. That's how leadership is done.
And then there's stocks, and there's all kinds of ways you can get stocks. So there's lots of different ways you can make income at EXP. So I love EXP. Not a fit for everybody, but yeah, I love it.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool. So let's talk about where you're going, right? Visionary is always seeing 5-10 years into the future. What are your 5-10 year goals look like? Or what are you seeking to accomplish? What type of impact do you want to leave?
Yeah, I'm all about looking at a sound business for the agents. Like, I'm really building everything right now. I've actually even thought about changing my team name, because that doesn't align with the vision now. You know, that's something that we've had the last 5-6 years, you know, that we've been in business, the Barnhill team. But that doesn't align with what we're doing. So for now, it's going to work. But we've thought about rebranding. Yeah. Because it's all about how do we help the agents? And I'm a true coach. You know, like I like, you know, one of the things I put out there all the time is I help winners win bigger and faster. That's what I like doing, right? People that want to come work. You don't want to come work, ain't got time for you.
Yeah.
But you want to come hustle, let me show you some stuff, save you some time, save you some headache. And I'm all about trying to show people, run your numbers. Let's make sure that we're a fit. Let's look at profit, not look at just home sales. You know what I mean? But we do plan on being the number one in the next 5 years. We want to be that preeminent choice in Columbia as a team. It won't be me running the houses though, but I want to help us as a team do that. I want us, because I think we can do it better. Yeah. And that's why I think with the guys that we've partnered with EXP, we've got a certification process for our agents to help them do that. We also have the leverage of being able to show them how to build wealth in real estate, work with real estate investors. And there's just so much opportunity, I think, that people aren't thinking of that we're going to capitalize on, that I'm really just ready to show people what we've been able to do. And, you know, it was work, but now they can start on a team and look at this stuff and actually profit more, get some more time back, and then we can all work together and be number one in Columbia. Good. Be that preeminent choice.
So what are some ways that agents can partner with investors, because I believe that there's a separation between the two, and I know that agents look down on investors and wholesalers in some cases.
Yeah.
A lot of investors have this, type of, I guess, belief about real estate agents, right? But
yeah, most of them suck.
My thought is, if you truly want to make it, and we'll get into where the
I'm
market's going here shortly,
Yeah.
like you really need to find a hybrid between the two, because the more you can come together and collaborate,
Right.
the more opportunities you're drumming up.
We're better together, man.
Yeah.
There's so much leverage in, like, for an agent, you look at the power of having a repeat buyer versus having to go get a buyer. A lot of times you're having to pay a referral fee, or you're having to pay to lead generate, and that's if you can figure out how to get conversion at a high level. But if you're building relationships with people and you have somebody that can buy, let's say you just have 5 people that are going to buy 3 to 5 properties a year, you got a good business.
It's great.
You might not have an admin and you got it all going, but you got it going for yourself. You're doing some deals. That's great.
Yeah.
So that is some leverage. And then on the investor part, I always tell investors that they should work with multiple agents when they talk to me. I don't want to try to lock them in, like, you have to only work with me. And I think it's really silly, my opinion. Maybe people think differently, but when people come to me and they're like, well, I already have an agent, and it's like, and I've spent time building a list or something like that. And it's like, well, and I don't feel bad about it. I'm closing the book. I'm like, well, go talk to your agent about their list of off-market properties. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? I want to help you, and I'm not trying to lock you down, but I think that there's an opportunity. People just gotta, in general, some of the people, not everybody is this way, but people just got to be a little more open-minded. You should be able to, you look at like these programs and they try to get you to start. What's some of the first things that they tell you to do? You need to go talk to 5-10 agents, and you need to go figure out which ones are going to send you properties, and you want to start getting that inbox overflowing with properties coming in via wholesalers, agents, you know what I mean?
Right.
The stuff's already going out there. So don't cut your legs off, I'm not trying to lock anybody down, nor should any agent, and that's probably not the agent you want to work with if they are, but you should work with multiple agents. And I think there's a big opportunity for our agents learning to do it themselves, right? Which I think is a big difference than somebody just talking about it, maybe knowing how to do it. Maybe they've done a few deals, but when they have a team, they're surrounded by a lot of other agents, an owner that's doing them, right? Worked with a lot of other people, and we have this collaborative space. I think there's a lot of gold in what we've got going on right now, where we're going to have an environment. It's like, dude, we're learning at a really high rate, right? You're not just some one agent out there on your own island trying to figure all this stuff out on your own.
Absolutely. So let's talk about where the market is going.
Yeah.
Looking back on this last year, between COVID-19 and elections, we've almost brewed the perfect storm, right? We really have. And it's taken us into unprecedented times where, at least in our local market, we've never seen housing prices skyrocket like they have in this past year. Like my house, literally $60,000, $70,000 in value that it gained this past year, right? Like it's crazy. It's bananas.
Sell it.
Oh yeah, it's on the market right now. Hyperinflation, dude. So it's brewing the perfect storm with this real estate market.
Yep.
Things are getting a little bit too good, right? It's all that good before it tanks.
Right.
Not to mention the thousands and thousands of people in mortgage forbearance right now, 10 times more than we've ever seen in history.
Right.
So what do you see coming?
You're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always tell people I'm not the economist, and, I've got assumptions, but I don't know, man. Bitcoin could take us out. Something will happen. Just don't know when. I know we're overdue. But right now, I think the biggest advice I can tell people is, I always tell people, if you're thinking about selling right now and you don't have to, don't.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Don't. But on the flip side of that, if you can and you feel like you want to, money is still super cheap. I know rates have gone up just a little bit. You have that power to start right now. You look at the other market and you're trying to get out of one and into one, right? Which is always like this big thing. Like, how do I do both? For most people, right? I think right now, if you can, do it, because you counterbalance and the interest rates that are today and maybe a lower price point home over a 30-year mortgage. This is personal stuff, I know, not investing stuff.
Right.
But this is the recommendation that I give everybody is if you can do it, you can see yourself doing it, money is cheap and you got the power to start right now. We've been getting 32 offers in a week, 14 in 24 hours. I've heard of other stories higher than that. And we actually run a highest and best system that we have documented to make sure we're in still good relationships with the agents and the buyers and all that stuff for our sellers to capitalize on the situation. But 10.5% increase from 19 to 20, right? So I know we're going to probably have another uptick this year. So that's double digits. It was 6% increase from 18 to 19. So those are huge increases in price sales. My listing appointment actually later today, I talked to her about 3 years ago, and I think she was only able to get like in the low 100s. Now we're going to be over 150 probably.
It's incredible
for the home. So, and that was her thing. You know, before she wasn't able to get enough out of the house, but now she is in a very short amount of time.
Eventually, some of the mortgages come due, right? And
that's
things
happening.
Shift, changes from a seller's market to a buyer's market.
Yep.
And that's when it gets interesting, right? And that's where I tell most investors, agents, like, you need to be prepared for what's coming, right? If you want to stay in business, you got to constantly pivot and constantly look at what's going on around you.
Yeah.
You want to walk around these situations and analyze every single angle so that you have a plan in place to safeguard you,
right,
your family, your business for what's to come.
Yep.
Right? It's going to get crazy. I think it will.
Keep your cash, stack your cash. You know, one of the things that we're doing on our team right now is actually leveraging low-cost ways to find deals. And one of those ways is to teach agents to work their database. We've always been 60% plus referral, repeat, past client stuff. So, you know, if you can leverage that somehow, get some low-cost stuff going or other ways to maybe slash some bills. And if you can generate business and do it low cost or free, you know, what's the cost of me bringing on an agent? Not very much, right? We're just working a split. But if I can teach them to work their database, we have other stuff that we do, but, you know, they get the majority of their business and then I could scale that, right? That's low cost.
Yep.
That's super low cost and it's high converting, right? So start educating just like you're doing right here. We're talking, like, that's what we've really taken on this year and changed, is like educating people. Because when the market does go south and people do need to make those decisions, those will be the ones reaching out to you because you're educating them. And those will be the only people making decisions, the ones that have to.
That's right.
Right. So get those lines in the water, man. That's what you need to be doing right now and saving cash.
That's good. People underestimate the value of a database.
I screwed it up the first couple of years, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm only just now really mastering it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's pipeline revenue is a thing, right?
Yeah.
There is fortune in the follow-up.
Yep.
There's a reason that they say that, right? These agents that are spending tens of thousands of dollars on Zillow ads, everything else, like that well's gonna run dry, right? Yep. But when you have a database that you, either that or all the money gets sucked out of the economy like a vacuum, banks aren't lending, and then what do you do then? You're spending a bunch of money, no conversion. Right? But the database, that's what you would call evergreen marketing, right? You nurture your people. You take care of your community, the people that have bought, sold, or shown interest. And then to take that a step further, your neighborhood, sphere of influence, right? Like, people underestimate the value of relationships.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the core principles in business.
Yep.
Right? Leverage your network.
Yep.
There's so much opportunity to be found in that. But anything else you want to shoot off before we?
No, I was just going to mention again, action-oriented agent is a new thing that we're doing. We're teaching agents the 7 pillars that you need to, and investors would probably benefit from it as well. And it's just everything that we're going to be teaching is everything from personal development that we would be teaching an agent, and everything that we do. We're not anything that we're sharing is not going to be anything that we don't do. It's all stuff that we do. How we get referrals, repeat transactions, all that stuff. And we're teaching you from what you need to be doing to set up your day, I actually have some cool stuff from my coach actually that he's got that we'll be sharing in those. And I haven't set our first date for the first one. It'll be our first one probably in the next 2 months, and we'll be doing them every 2 months. But we're going to take it all the way to closing, how our transaction managers work, and how to get referrals, repeat clients, all that stuff.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it. Go check out Jacob Barnhill on all channels. Where's the best place to find you?
You can just email me, jacob@barnhillteam.com, or if you want to check out what we got going on with the action-oriented agent stuff, go to actionorientedagent.com.
Boom. Love it.
Yep.
Till next time, continue trucking forward. Be the greatest version of yourself because your future depends on it, right? Get serious about that.
Cool.
Appreciate you coming on today, bro.
Appreciate it. Yeah, it was good. It's fun.
For sure. See you guys on the other side.